Oh, sweet mother of
Bacon!
So that was episode 2, Doors and Corners. What did you think?
Oh,
Did you like the fact that Miller basically retreated into a corner by a door before killing him?
It's pure creative genius.
he decided that he was going to hear him out. And the one thing that the man said that really, I think, got him pow pow was he didn't care who ran the project.
As long as the project happened.
As long as he kept working.
What did you think
He
about what
didn't
he was
care
saying
about
about
Julie
why he was
died
doing it?
or anything. I understand that. But
Do you think the proto-molecule was an attack?
I'm not sure.
That's what he seemed to think. At the end, what he said, remember, it's like, if we don't finish this work, we'll be left defenseless and unarmed against an enemy that's already fired the first shot.
But remember what? Well,
because
okay.
Protogen is convinced that Phoebe wasn't just aimed at our star system; that it was aimed specifically at Earth, and that it just happened not to make it.
And that's a possibility. But the only thing that I'm having a problem with is they allowed all of these people to get infected just so they could see.
But they're trying to understand what the protomolecule does.
Then why didn't they just study it in a lab?
Because did you hear what he said when he asked them that? It's like, you could have just put this in a petri dish to look at it. And
no,
said,
not in a petri dish.
No, but he said you could have just fed it some simple bacteria or whatever.
They'll watch it, but I don't think it's that simple.
I'm not interested in the fate of simple bacteria. I think they have the idea. It seems to me that what he's saying is basically
that it's taking over people.
What you give it affects what happens. And remember, they're trying to repurpose it. Remember what he said, like, if we can master this, we can have humans that can survive out in space without suits and things like that.
But look,
they want to see what it does to humans,
if
so they
we
can figure out how to
master,
control what it does to humans.
But if we can master it, not even know what it is.
What he said, we would become our own gods.
See, not even know what it is. And it has caused a whole colony of people, including that crazy man's daughter. So my whole thing is, we have all of these scientists
trying to understand the protomolecule,
trying to understand this one thing. And what made them think they needed to do it on a large scale? But it just got out, though.
No, that was phase 2. Phase 2 was always to release it on a large population.
Yeah, so
phase 1 was Phoebe. Remember how they had the video of it, what it was doing to the people there? So they released it on Phoebe first, but they determined that it was too small a population to really understand what the protomolecule.
They didn't let it finish doing whatever it was supposed to do. Why didn't they just try one of the scientists, if that was the case, in a controlled environment? Isn't that what scientists do?
That's what Phoebe was.
No, they took a whole place with a whole bunch of people
that they shut down, controlled all access in and out of, brought in their own energy equipment to make the protomolecule grow. What it was is they let it loose on Phoebe, and I'm trying to remember if they even talk about this part in the show. I don't think they do, so I'm just going to explain it. On Phoebe, it basically grew to a certain point and stopped. What they determined...
Well, evidently something was missing.
It needed more mass. It needed more biomass. There weren't enough people on Phoebe.
I'm not sure about that.
And it's not about people specifically. It's about biomass. So, like, just genetic material and stuff. It needed more.
If they used a small...
No, small amount didn't work. That's what I'm getting at. They went bigger because it needed more. So they gave it more. They took it to a place where there were, 250,000 people?
Then why would they...
radiation that they could feed it and everything else to make it so that it would have enough so that they could actually study it. The problem with Phoebe was that it didn't last long enough to really properly be studied. They were able to study it enough to understand that it was actually something complex and highly organized and everything like that.
Oh, sorry.
And to see part of what it did, that was why they knew that it repurposed life, because they were able to see it do that part, but they didn't know what it was trying to repurpose the life into.
See,
so they decided, okay, we're going to give it something much bigger to see what it's trying to actually do. What is it programmed to do?
That's too many question marks.
It's one
it's
question
too many.
mark right
no,
now.
it's,
What does it do?
It's too many because okay, we need a lot of people.
A lot of biomass.
They were people though.
Right.
Biomass,
because,
whatever they want to call it.
Because what Dresden was saying is their primary interest is to find out what applications it has to human genetics. So if they released it, let's say they went to a gigantic asteroid full of plants, right?
Hypothetically.
They could probably see what basically the protomolecule does, but they would only really be able to understand it in terms of plants. So how would they apply it to humans? If their end result is to improve humans by what they learn from the protomolecule, they would need to basically let it work on humans. It's basically their thinking.
See, to me, that's almost like aliens. All of a sudden,
this
unknown
company in Alien
thing
wanted the xenomorph as a weapon.
No, but this unknown thing, all of a sudden, they had to have it. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not saying they're right. I'm just trying to explain what their thinking is. They basically are looking at something like this was sent by another species, directly at our planet.
That right there would have made me leave it alone.
But think about it. If it seems like it was an attack from another species or something like that, and this is incredibly advanced. Imagine if you you use a new weapon, right? Like one group of humans uses like an atomic bomb. What's the other group of humans gonna do? They're gonna try to figure out what the heck is this weapon? How do we defend against it? And how do we make another one? And a lot of the thing when you try to defend against a weapon is you basically have to recreate the weapon first. Because you have to understand how it works so that you can defend against it. And that's basically what these
movies,
are.
Remember? I told you, with shows like this, one thing you cannot change. I don't care where, unfortunately, sorry about that, people, those who are not going to agree with me. But I don't think it matters where you send humanity, whether it's 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, whatever. You cannot take away our human nature, unfortunately.
People are the worst.
And I am looking at this show, which is really getting interesting. And I'm thinking about the fact that we're still our worst enemy no matter where we go.
Yeah,
even though they got belters and they got Martians and they got all these, and all of them look human now. But we still have the same issues that we're having. And I understood Miller for shooting the scientist.
Do you?
I do.
Are you sure?
I mean, he got upset, for one, listening to him harp on about taking all these people's lives for science.
I'm not going to lie to you, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit more of a kind of like science.
I know you are.
Just pure logic kind of person.
I know.
But I get it. I don't think I could do it because that's a lot of people to sacrifice, but I understand the thinking behind it. That
do you really?
Yeah, I do, because if you want to understand what it does, because let's think of it this way: if something sent it, what's to say they won't send another one? So you kind of need to know what it's meant to do.
More than likely, they will. If something happened to the first one, they would send another.
And,
probably.
Who's to say they have it? You know what I mean?
Probably, but my whole thing is.
And what happens if you encounter if it's something sent it? If something is advanced enough to aim something from way across whoever knows how far in space directly at a specific planet, and what's on it is something like the protomolecule, it would be reasonable to assume that they're pretty advanced, right? Probably way beyond us.
Reasonable.
So I think a big part of this also is trying to close the gap a little bit, so that if they come themselves, we're a little better able to defend ourselves.
Well,
I think that's why they're thinking that way. I think that's why they're looking at these things that they've done as necessary sacrifices.
No, well, we're being guided by fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means we're
Fear of the unknown.
we're probably making a bunch of mistakes. I am
And not
saying
just
we,
fear, because
even
I
though
think-
I'm talking about the show.
And not just fear either, because I think Dresden also was partly motivated by a genuine.
It was something new.
Not
He
just
was
that, but I think
excited about.
he saw the potential for humanity to become something.
No, he was excited about the fact that it was something new.
Hell yeah, and there was that too.
Something they had never seen. Wasn't
just don't
sure
think-
what was going to happen to it.
I don't think
It
that,
didn't matter how many people.
but I don't think
died.
that, I don't think that it doesn't seem to me, from just again taking them at their word, when they say the things they do, it doesn't seem to me that their motivation is just something new and shiny. I think they actually believe they're doing something for the betterment of the world, quote unquote.
Oh, please! How
Yeah.
many times have even if we were talking
A lot of
about
science,
here,
a lot of
I
horrible
mean-
sines happens because of that.
I know.
Look at the,
I've been in labs, so I
Yeah.
know.
The experiments infecting people with syphilis and things like that were mainly done to understand syphilis.
Yeah,
To basically help people by hurting these other people. And of course they chose the people they considered to be the least valuable, which is exactly what these guys did.
well, if I was on the show, unfortunately, and I try to believe that I'm a humanist, where I don't want to destroy things.
Not really
but-
what humanist is, but that's
Well, sorry, humanitarian.
We won't get there. We go. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. But I would like to think that I believe in life. And I probably would have shot the doctor too
A contradiction.
by being angry, which Miller was.
Mm.
And he thought about Julie and all the people who had died.
I don't think there's.
And all the man kept saying was, I don't care, which I won't forget. I don't care who runs the project. I just want to finish my work. Who were the people with the little things on their head?
Oh, they
I don't know who they were.
they were scientists, and remember they managed to catch one of them alive. So we'll learn a little bit more.
Oh, I hope so, because I really would like to know what they were looking at in the little goggles. Were they looking at other places where they are performing the test with this little biohazard stuff and everything? And still, I got my eye on that one that's in that asteroid. I still got my eyes.
One is in what asteroid?
The one that they stuck in between the rocks.
Oh,
I still got my eyes on that one.
the Rocinante sample.
Because
That's what I'll call it.
I don't know what's up with that. But even if they destroyed all of the stuff, they still got some.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Which to me is scary.
I get you.
If you
There's
want to
still
get
some
rid
left
of it,
somewhere.
if you want to get rid of it, it's like just about every science fiction movie I've ever seen, where all of a sudden,
like
they
the ending
think-
of the Blob, where there's that little piece of
yeah, they think it is the end of it, and woo,
you pan
we
down
have
and
got
like,
through.
boom, boom.
Yeah, we have got through and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, in a lab in somewhere unknown USA,
Somewhere unknown.
there's another sample. It may be a little bit, but how many of us know that all it takes is a little bit?
I gotta say too, though, I'm impressed because I've watched a lot of other people react to the Expanse, and I don't think I've ever seen a reactor pick up on the fact that Miller was going to shoot Dresden before it happened. Seriously, that was a clutch prediction, Mal. So high five on that. And on that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye on this episode. The binge continues though, so like and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments in the video. I'll pass them along to Mother of Bacon over here. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Expanse. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait a minute. Before
Oh, yeah.
bye-bye, remember that we're keeping our eyes Bye now.
You're such a weirdo.
I don't know what the hell that was about either. Anyway, bye-bye, guys.